Dobar dan. Mislim da ima da je roman. Roman, ono kao sa konsekutivno. To bi kod nas bilo prije.
Poštovane kolegice i kolege, dragi uzvanici, sve vas srdačno pozdravljamo na svečanosti ovdje u Banskim dvorima, koju organiziramo u prigodi posjeta članove Hrvatske zajednice i lokalne ragbi momčadi Northland s Novog Zelanda.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and guests, a very warm welcome here at Banski Dvori at the event organized on the occasion of the visit of Croatian community and rugby team Northland Tarara from New Zealand.
Vaša turneja promovira ne samo ragbi kao sport koji je iznimno popularan u Novom Zelandu, već jača veze između domovinske i iseljene Hrvatske.
Your tour promotes not only rugby as a sport, which is very popular in New Zealand, but it also strengthens the ties between homeland and emigrated Croatia.
Kao momčad koju čine potomci Hrvata iz Novog Zelanda, ponosni smo na vaš doprinos očuvanju i promicanju hrvatskog identiteta kroz sport, te povezivanju s našim korijenima i kulturom.
As a team comprising descendants of Croats in New Zealand, we are very proud of your contribution to preserving and promoting Croats and Croatia's identity through sport and through connecting with our roots and the culture.
A sada slijedi red prigodnih obraćanja. Zamolio bih voditelja putovanja, gospodina David Jurlinu, da nam se obrati. Izvolite.
David Jurlina, the floor is yours.
Dobar dan, Prime Minister, and all our distinguished guests. When we set on this journey a year ago, not in our wildest dreams did we ever think we would be in Parliament and the Prime Minister shaking our hand. So we are very, very humbled to be here.
Poštovani predsjedniče Vlade, dragi gosti, kada smo krenuli planirati ovo naše putovanje... Okay.
He understands. Okay. Yeah, okay. So here we are. We're from the far north of New Zealand, and that's the representation on our thing. So we're not Auckland, we're not the big city, we're country people north, and had a bit of a dream to bring this team back to see our descendants. This is one of my wife's 5th visit to Croatia, so we've been here, but we wanted to bring our sons and all the rest of young people in the north back up to have the opportunity to reconnect with their families. So that's been a big part of this. You're good? I keep talking? Yep. So the journey started, and we needed to fundraise and do lots of money, lots of things to get us here, but we've arrived here, and we've absolutely enjoyed it. The hospitality has been outstanding. The people have been welcoming. We've had about 3 or 4 parliamentary visits and all that, so it's been, it's been really, really good. We just recently went to down to Makaska, and where most of our Makaska and below is where most of our families come from, and we reconnected with them, and we sent all our players and supporters to meet up with their descendants and to cemeteries, and to go up there and see your surname in a cemetery on the other side of the world was pretty inspiring for a lot of these people. So everyone will have their family names on their jerseys. So we did a bit of research and got all their heritage. So that's the significance of that. That gave us a little bit of an identity and a little bit of identification with that. So that's the bulk of our journey. We've been hooked up with the Croatian Rugby Union, who have been excellent hosts, and all the teams we've played have showed great hospitality. I think they had a little bit of a plan to feed us plenty of pivo, and so we had some very, very interesting good nights, but yeah, it's been lots of fun and very humbling to be back home. So haven't got a lot more to say, but once again, thank you very much. And just to have Prime Minister come over and shake shows us what sort of person you are. Very friendly, and that's who we are from the north. We're renowned for our friendliness. And just lastly, our name, Tarara, if you're wondering where that originates from. So when our descendants, when our family came to New Zealand, because they couldn't speak English, they were treated quite lowly, and the Māori people, our indigenous people of New Zealand, they migrated and became very close with them. But as you all know, when Croatians speak, they speak really fast, and so to the Māori people, it just sounded like they're saying tarara, like that, and hence the name Tarara has evolved. So it's a Māori name given from the Māori people to us. So that's where that name originates from. So yeah. So with that, yep. Thank you very much once again, everyone. We're just humbled to be here, and we really do appreciate the invitation today. Okay.
Zahvaljujemo gospodinu Jurlini na njegovom izlaganju. Sada ćemo zamoliti kapetana ragbi momčadi Northland Tarara, gospodina Nikolasa Jurlinu, da nam se također obrati.
Hvala na dobrodošlici, kia ora, and thank yous all very much for having us here today. We really appreciated the invitation. Being invited here today is just a big reflection of all the love and hospitality we've received while we're here in our homeland of Croatia. Like our coach said, the trip is a once-in-a-lifetime thing for a lot of us, and it was a good push for us to come here and see where we all came from. And it was really lovely for myself personally and the rest of the young men here to go back to Makaska, to our old villages, and to see where we come from, and to see where our really young great-grandparents, 12, 16, left this country to make New Zealand their new home. So, just like I said, thank you for having here. We're really privileged, and we hope one day, if you ever want to come to the north of New Zealand, that we can return the hospitality. Thank you.
Hvala i kapetanu Jurlini. Sada ćemo zamoliti državnog tajnika u Ministarstvu turizma i sporta Josipa Pavića da nam se obrati.
Hvala Marko. Poštovani članovi Hrvatske zajednice, poštovani ragbijaši, od srca vam zahvaljujem što ste se odlučili na ovaj dolazak ovdje i što ste iskoristili sport, u vašem slučaju ragbi, kao poveznicu vaših predaka, vaših korijena i vaših sadašnjih života.
Dear rugby players, dear members of the Croatian community, thank you so much for coming, and thank you for choosing to come here and to use the sport to connect your ancestors and your roots to your present life today.
Sport je, kao što znate, jedan od identiteta Hrvatske, stvar kojom se izuzetno ponosimo. Naši sportaši su jedni od najvećih, ako ne i najveći ambasadori, tako da zaista koristimo ga u pozitivnom smislu, spajamo u ovom slučaju dvije kulture, Novog Zelanda i Hrvatsku. Vjerujem da ovo neće biti jedini put da ste posjetili Hrvatsku i da neće proći preko 30 godina od vašeg zadnjeg putovanja. Dobio sam obećanje da će to biti već za 3 godine, tako da se zaista nadam da ćemo ponovno uživati u ragbi susretima i za 3 godine. Hvala vam još jednom i ugodan ostatak boravka u Hrvatskoj.
As you know, sport is one of the identities of our Republic of Croatia. We are very proud of all of our athletes because they create ties, strong ties, and we will use these ties now to connect New Zealand and Croatia in terms of our ancestors and in terms of culture. I do hope that not another 30 years will have to go by for you to come again, and I've received the promise that it would be in 3 years' time. So thank you again for coming, and I do hope you enjoy the rest of your stay.
Zahvaljujemo državnom tajniku Paviću i za kraj zamolit ćemo predsjednika Vlade Andreja Plenkovića da nam se obrati.
So thank you to State Secretary Pavić and now Prime Minister Plenković.
Hvala lijepa, Marko. Prije svega, dobrodošli. Ja ću govoriti hrvatski, pa ćete vi polako to njima prevesti, ali evo, najljepši pozdrav gospodinu Jurlini, tati, kapetanu, sinu i svim ostalim i ragbijašima, navijačicama, prijateljima i zahvala što ste skupili novac i došli u posjet domovine vaših djedova.
So first of all, a very warm welcome. I will be speaking Croatian. So thank you to Dad, Jurlina, thank you to son, thank you to all the players and all the friends that have gathered here today. Thank you for raising the funds to come here and to visit the homeland of your ancestors.
Pozdravljam i gospodina Holjevca, prvog čovjeka hrvatskog ragbija. Pozdravljam i našu počasnu konzulicu Novoga Zelanda ovdje, sve moje suradnike, gospodina Pavića, gospodina Milasa koji vodi Ured za Hrvate izvan Hrvatske, glavnu tajnicu Vlade, gospođu Ferenčić, naše suradnike i u ime svih nadam se da se dobro osjećate ovdje u Vladi.
I would also like to extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Holjevac, who is the first man in Croatian rugby. A warm welcome to Honorary Council in New Zealand. A welcome and greeting to my colleagues, Mr. Pavić, Mr. Milas, who is in charge of the Office for Croatians abroad. Also, I would like to welcome Secretary of the Government Ferenčić and all of my colleagues. And on my personal behalf and on their behalf, I do hope that you feel welcome here.
Nama je svima poznato da su Hrvati koji su na Novom Zelandu došli iz jednog manjeg dijela srednje Dalmacije. Došli ste mahom iz kraja odakle su i moji roditelji. Meni je mama iz Podgore, puno je vaših prezimena podgorskih, to vidim po majicama, iz Makarske, a očevi su roditelji sa Hvara, znači među svojima ste i po ovoj mikroperspektivi.
We are aware that the majority of Croats who went to New Zealand, in fact, went from one part of central Dalmatia. And this is the part that I also have personal connections with, being that my mother is from Podgora, and I have recognized so many of the last names of yours that are from the same area. My father is...
Grandmother is from Podgora.
Grandmother. And my father is from the island of Hvar.
No. Grandmother from Podgora, grandfather from Makarska, grandmother and grandfather from Hvar, because I see all the family names on their shirts, which I know well.
So, all in all, you're among friends and family here.
Također, jako mi je drago da ste došli i to kao rugby tim, što je po meni posebno lijepo i simpatično, jer to je jedan krasan, čvrst, pravi sport, muški. Evo, zna gospodin Holjevac da ih i podržavamo i pratimo.
And I'm very glad that you came here to represent rugby. Rugby is a beautiful, firm, manly sport, and as Mr. Holjevac is well aware, we do support rugby here as well.
Plus, niste vi jedini na europskoj turneji. Malo sam sad googlao, vidim da su i All Blacksi trenutno u Europi.
So you're not the only ones touring Europe, it seems. All Blacks are also touring it right now.
Tako da oni igraju malo sa Francuskom, Italijom, Irskom, vi igrate sa selekcijom Dalmacije, reprezentacijom Hrvatske. Lila je to.
So they play against France and Italy, you play against Dalmatia and Croatian national team, so we're there somewhere.
Također, bitno je da vaša generacija Hrvata sa Novog Zelanda stekne dobar dojam o Hrvatskoj danas.
And it is very important for you as your generation from New Zealand to get the right impression of Croatia right now.
Jer vaši su preci otišli davno, otišli su u neko drugo vrijeme, u vrijeme nekih drugih država na ovim prostorima, a sad ste došli u svoju domovinu.
Because your ancestors, when they left the country, it was a very long time ago and it was a different country. Now you returned to your own homeland.
Danas je Hrvatska zemlja koja je riješila sve svoje strateške nacionalne zadaće.
Today, Croatia is a country which has solved all of its strategic national tasks.
Imamo teritorijalnu cjelovitost nakon Domovinskog rata i agresije velikosrpskog Miloševićevog režima početkom 90-ih.
So we have territorial integrity after the Homeland War and after Serbian and Milošević's aggression in the early 90s.
Imamo demokraciju, imamo vladavinu prava i imamo snažne institucije.
We also have democracy, we have the rule of law and we have strong institutions.
Hrvatska je danas u potpunosti integrirana u Europsku uniju i NATO.
Today, Croatia is fully integrated in the European Union and in the NATO.
Što znači da pripadamo zapadnom civilizacijskom krugu.
Which means that we belong to the Western civilizational circle.
To naravno podrazumijeva da je i naše gospodarstvo i socijalni standard danas na bitno višoj razini nego što je to bilo ranije.
This of course means that our economy and our social standard is at a much higher level than it used to be.
I zadovoljni smo da je evo upravo u vremenu kada mi imamo povjerenje kao Vlada na temelju volje hrvatskog naroda upravljati zemljom.
And we are happy and satisfied to say that right now, at the time that we as the government have been entrusted to govern the country, entrusted by the Croatian people,
da smo ostvarili neke od velikih završnih strateških postignuća, postali smo dio europodručja, dio šengenskog prostora, a iduće godine postaćemo i članica organizacije globalne za ekonomsku suradnju i razvoj.
And we have in fact achieved our greatest strategic achievements, such as becoming a member of the euro area, of the Schengen, and next year of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development.
Sve to govori da Hrvatska danas ima sve pretpostavke za snažan ekonomski rast i visoku zaposlenost i veće plaće i mirovine.
This all means that today Croatia has met all the prerequisites to have a strong economic growth, higher employment and higher salaries and pensions.
Naš će rast ove godine biti oko 3,5-3,6%, što je visoki rast u odnosu na druge zemlje Europske unije.
Our growth this year is at a level of 3.5 to 3.6%, which is an excellent level compared to other EU member states.
Zaposlenost je nikada veća, ima 1.750.000 ljudi koji rade u Hrvatskoj.
Employment has never been higher. We have 1,750,000 employed people in Croatia.
A nezaposlenost nikad manja, praktički niža od 5%.
And we have never had lower unemployment, which is now lower than 5%.
S obzirom da ste bili na moru, vidjeli ste kakav je danas hrvatski turizam.
Given that you have visited our coastal part, you have seen the state of tourism in Croatia today.
Jedna smo odnosno rijetka smo zemlja, jedina na Mediteranu koja godišnje ima multiplikator u odnosu na broj stanovnika i broj turista 5. Dakle, skoro 4 milijuna ljudi, više od 20 milijuna turista.
In other words, we are one of the rare European countries and the only Mediterranean countries with a multiplier of 5 compared to the number of its citizens and tourists. So for 5 million tourists, we have 4 million citizens, 20 million tourists.
To nemaju puno veće turističke destinacije svijeta.
There are much greater tourist destinations in the world that cannot boast these numbers.
A to sve dolazi iz kraja odakle su vaši djedovi i bake.
And all these numbers come from the area that your ancestors come from.
Tako da mi je izuzetno drago da ste vi kao jedna nova, mlada generacija ljudi koji su hrvatskoga porijekla, a danas žive u Novom Zelandu, a naši ste, vidjela današnju suvremenu, modernu Hrvatsku.
And that's why I'm very glad that you as a new young generation from New Zealand was able to see and is able to see a new modern Croatia.
I zato preporučam našega državnog tajnika, gospodina Milasa, da zajedno sa svojim suradnicama i suradnicima nastavi podržavati brojne projekte za Hrvate izvan Hrvatske.
And that's why I would recommend our State Secretary, Mr. Milas, and his associates to continue developing projects for Croats who live outside of Croatia.
Mi smo po logici stvari fokusirani na Hrvate koji žive u Bosni i Hercegovini kao konstitutivan narod.
We of course focus on Croats who live in Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croats being a constituent nation there.
Na Hrvate koji su nama susjednim zemljama kao manjine.
Croats that live as minorities in the neighboring countries.
Ali jednako tako veliku pozornost pridajemo Hrvatima koji su naše iseljeništvo ili potomci naših iseljenika poput vas i zato sam i osobno sretan da imamo ovu priliku susresti se danas, pozdraviti vas i potaknuti da dođete ne samo ovako kao lijepo strukturiran i organiziran rugby tim, nego i privatno ponovo sa vašim obiteljima.
But we also devote a lot of our attention to Croats who live in other parts of the world and to their descendants. And that's why I'm personally very happy that we have had this opportunity to meet, to speak, and I would also like to encourage you to come back not only in this organized way in a team, but perhaps also privately with your families.
Želim vam od srca svako dobro, želim vam naravno i sretan put nazad na Novi Zeland.
I do wish you all the best and I hope you have a safe trip back home to New Zealand.
Malo smo za uspomenu pripremili par poklona i uspomena da imate nešto i od posjete Vladi.
So we have prepared some gifts for you so that you can remember the day when you visited the government.
I vodite računa da je politika našega prvoga predsjednika doktora Franje Tuđmana o jedinstvu domovinske iseljene Hrvatske jednako živa i aktualna i provodi se i danas.
And also please bear in mind that the policy that was advocated by our first president, President Franjo Tuđman, and that was the policy of uniting homeland and emigrated Croatia. This policy is still live and well and being implemented today.
Hvala vam puno.
Thank you.
Kia ora.
Zahvaljujemo predsjedniku Vlade na njegovom govoru. Evo sad ćemo... Hvala još jednom svima. Evo da bismo potpunili našu današnju svečanost, slijedi i zajednička fotografija, prigodno uručivanje poklona, a potom će pripadnici rugby tima u dvorištu Vlade izvesti tradicionalni haku, pa ćemo predstavnike medija moliti da se premjeste iz svečane dvorane u dvorište Vlade nakon svečanosti. Hvala svima.
So, first we will have a family photo and then the haka will be performed in the courtyard of the government's building.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs also just arrived. Have you met him? Gordan Grlić Radman. He's our foreign minister. He came particularly to see you. He left all the other meetings to be with you.
I was in New Zealand last year in December.
Hajde reci gdje reći.
So thank you so much.